Hi everybody, this is Kelly with Everything in Between, and this video today we are going to be remembering the life of the great Reverend Billy Graham. He passed away this morning, February 21st, 2018, here in North Carolina, and I just wanted to send out my condolences to all of the Billy Graham followers, believers, and for anyone who is affected by his passing and whose life has been affected by his teaching. I want to speak on specifically what he has, how he has impacted or not impacted my life. I would like to talk only positive about him on the day of his passing, but I do want to speak on him and his relationship with African Americans, his relationship with the ongoing changing of our country as it related to race, and just give some comments about what I know of Reverend Billy Graham. So I grew up in the North, and Reverend Billy Graham actually wasn't a name that I had heard until I was probably late teens, 18, 19 years old. I did not attend his church. I did not follow necessarily his denomination of religion. But what I did find is that my pastors, who I did cherish so much, many of them followed him and was influenced by him. So through his teachings to them, I'm sure I was able to benefit from a lot of things that he had taught over the years. It wasn't until I moved to the South that I realized that he has such an impact in the South, which brought me to why I wanted to do this video. So I'm new to the South, from the North, so there was a lot of things that I know that was so different growing up in the North than in the South, especially being African American. So one of those things that once I got to the South and was in the area in which he is so known and definitely seen in every corner, nook and cranny of North Carolina, I started doing a little bit more research into him, because I'll be quite frank and quite honest, a lot of times I had heard over the recent years of him being evangelical and some of his teachings not quite coinciding with what African Americans was experiencing in real world day-to-day issues. So instead of doing like a lot of people and assuming, I did some research, a little bit of my own, to do just a little bit deeper into who would be Reverend Billy Graham. So he was a father, he was a husband. Apparently he gave his life to Christ at age 15. So I want to touch on that real quick about that. Now let's understand that this man died today, but he was born in 1918. So let's think about that. He was 99 years old. I'm sure he would have been 100 years old this year. Thinking back to 1918 in the South, in the segregated South, can you imagine? So the reason I wanted to make this video is I wanted to point a light on something that maybe other videos may not, and that is that understand that a lot of times when we see our leaders, our celebrities, and people who we look up to, who we revere, you have to realize and try to wonder, where did they come from before they got there? So what I had to do was, instead of, because I'll be honest, quite honest, guys, I mean, I'm African American, so I can only see the world out of the lens I'm given. So, you know, understand my commentary here is out of a middle-aged African American woman's eye. So that is all I know. No matter what anybody else tells me, my view of the world and what I see on a day-to-day is my own, according to my demographic. Same with you. So with that being said, I know that in my adult years I had heard things about the evangelicals that definitely had me scratching my temple about how he was a leader in that group or dynamic of the demographic of Christian. And so I will be very honest and transparent when I say that I got a little sour taste in my mouth over my adult years, because I just couldn't get past some of the things that I won't go into detail, because this video is not about that. It's about honoring him. So I will say, though, briefly, though, that I had my visual of what he may be had got tainted. So that's why I said, like I said before, I went and tried to do some research. And so what I found, was quite a lot. So going back to 1918 again, so understanding that, I know that there was an article somewhere that he had said that his uncle was very prejudiced. And again, who's surprised it was 1918 in the South? I just want to pinpoint on the fact that if he gave his life to Christ at 15 years old, can you imagine, guys, what he, had to undo in his mind and his heart to be able to accept everybody, which he got highly criticized for. There was a period of time when he was very criticized by a lot of white America for some of the things he embraced, some of the people he embraced, some of the people he invited to his church, his open arm tactics. It just, everybody wasn't on board with that. So I would give a lot of props to him. I admire him for his needing to go against the grain and to follow the word of God as he saw fit to overcome some obstacles that were in front of him as well. 1918, I'm sure, when he was born, obviously he was a little kid, but just think about maybe the 20s, 1925, 1928, 1930. He was hearing all kind of things, but at 15 years old, he decided, I'm going to give my life to Christ. I'm going to follow the ways of the Bible, and I'm going to accept everyone. Now, so what I did was I decided to go on his site because, as you can see right here, I just Google searched, Reverend Billy Graham and presidents, and you see Barack Obama, Reagan, I see Kennedy, some of these people I literally cannot say their names, which is not good. Lyndon Johnson, so Nixon. So here is President Ford here. So he's known, one of the things he's very, very known for is his presidential visits and how he goes to the White House and he gives advice to presidents, and I think that is absolutely wonderful. Thankful for that. I wonder though, guys, over the years, can you imagine, like I said, he was born in 1918. So his meeting with President Lyndon Johnson or President Ford even was probably so different than his meeting with President Clinton, President Bush, President Bush and President Obama, both Bush. So times what a wonderful thing that this man was born in a way of the world that is completely different than what it is now. God bless him. Like, he is so lucky and blessed to have seen this nation go from one thing to another. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. We all know we're not there yet. Let's not live in the fantasy world here. The United States, we've backtracked quite a bit, but all in all, being from his point of view, which probably saddened him toward the end, but can you imagine though how fierce it was in his adolescent years, his teen years, his young adult years, to have to battle what was coming towards him, to have to explain his way out of things. He was a white man. Now, he was a white man that had a huge following, that told everybody to love everybody, and everybody followed him. Yet and still, when he tried to stand up for racial injustice back then and try to get everybody on one accord and as he saw fit, imagine what he was faced with and how he had to explain that to people who were so loyal to him. So I'm going to go over here to his site, because I do want to, at the end of this video, talk some stuff that, say something that may not be as comfortable for some, but it's just what it is. I want to go there. Okay, so with all respect, though, this is the day of his death, and I will not speak badly of this man, because I just think that would be ultimately disrespectful. So we're going to go to racism. Now, this is on his page here, the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. I do have my thoughts about evangelicals. Again, I'm not going to do that on this video. I'll save that for a different video. So here, I went on to racism here, and I wanted to look through and kind of see what kind of answers was given by him. I did this because, guys, I did not want to assume, which is what we do so much in this world right now, in this nation. We assume. I know that I have my thoughts about evangelicals, and you may have your thoughts about a group of people, whatever. We have that right. But what I did not want to do was do what I accuse so many people of doing when it comes to African Americans and other groups, is just assume, just go off what I hear in the streets. I wasn't going to do that. So I went to his site, and I wanted to dig a little bit deeper. I know once I saw this video, him standing with Martin Luther King, Again, that's not the be all end all just because it's Martin Luther King. A lot of people stood with Martin Luther King that don't necessarily have his best interest at heart. But I did dig a little bit deeper here. I really am not trying to play this video. Okay. So he has a book here, or there's a book here. It says Billy Graham, Martin Luther King Jr., Civil Rights and Apartheid, Taking Down the Ropes of Segregation. This is something that you can go ahead and maybe take a look at. Again, this is the Billy Graham Evangelist, I can never say that word, forgive me guys, Association, sorry. And here is, it looks like it's 15 minutes and 49 seconds. I'm gonna actually look at this when I'm done. I'm just not gonna do it on this video. But it's some videos related to, you know, racism and things that he had given his answers on what he thought about it. Now, also, there's one I saw before I started this video. Let's see. Here's some where he actually answered. Okay, here's a good one right here. So this one says, I love my grandfather and hate to say anything against him, but he is very prejudiced against people of other races. He seems to make a special point of talking about it when we bring our children for a visit. How should I handle it with them? So I'm not going to read this whole answer. I don't know. Let's see. This is February 10th, 2013. So quite possibly this is Billy Graham's actual response. But I'll just read this last comment here, this last part of it. I'm thankful you don't have the same prejudices your grandfather has, and I'm thankful also you don't want your children to have them either. Pray for your grandfather, and if possible, gently but clearly let him know that while you love him, you don't share his views on this, and you hope he won't share them with your children. In any case, help your children learn to love others, even those whom you disagree. So clearly, Reverend Billy Graham was a man of open-mindedness, at least in this answer, and wanting to squash down the prejudiced, racist views of this lady's grandfather. So for that, thank him. I thank Pastor or Reverend Billy Graham for that. Let's see. So here's something here. Is it true that God cursed one of Noah's sons who became the founder of the black race? My uncle is very prejudiced against people of other races, and he uses this to defend his position. Well, that's a whole nother video, because there's a lot of things in the Bible that people misinterpret as being what would have made slavery okay. But again, that's a whole different video. And it's unfortunate that some people have taken parts of the Bible to back up their agenda or what they may or may not want to believe. So here's something here is Billy Graham's answers on race and inequality. So this actually is one that I did read already. This is amazing. It's a really good read here. I would invite you to read this. I do not have any association with the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association's website. I literally just came to this website to get more information myself. Here's some questions and answers here, and actually he did answer these himself. So I think, you know, he left us so much to use, so much of a legacy that he left for all of us to dig deeper within ourselves. I am very appreciative of the opportunity to at least know some of his teachings through my other pastors, all who were African American, and who I revere, who I love, and I trust. And so, you know, by that means, you know, was he a perfect man? Of course he wasn't. Who is? If any of you are watching and think you're perfect, then good luck with that. Like, nobody's perfect. I'm sure the man has done some things he regretted. But what I will say is that while I don't agree with all of the evangelical teachings, and some immensely disagree, I do respect him. I offer condolences to God, to all of you guys who are grieving right now, and I am thankful that I'm more thankful for him in the beginning years. I'm thankful for his whole life, but when I think of him, my appreciation will come from him being younger and having to navigate through the segregated racist South that was back then, and having to know that he was going to face his peers and have to go a different direction. I applaud him for that. He may not have been perfect in how he did it. The thought that he wanted to do it and that he knew it was necessary, I give him ultimate respect. I'm a little bit, saddened today. I really am. I'm empathizing with those who really followed him. My daughter has a friend who came all the way from across the country just to go to his library, who totally wants to be a pastor and a minister and has been so influenced by Reverend Billy Graham. So as you see these questions here and some of these answers, I'm sure by now you've had a chance to look at them. I invite you to go to his site. And what I want to end this video by saying right now is, guys, if you're still listening to this, if you are still listening to this video now, then I really appreciate it. And I'm not just saying that. This is not for clicks. This is not for likes. Obviously, I would like for you to subscribe to this channel because I do talk about a lot of things that are very interesting. Some things that'll make you mad. Some things that'll make you clap. But I do invite you to my channel. Like and subscribe if you so choose. But that is not why I made the video. I'm making this video because I want to send my condolences to the Billy Graham followers, and I would like to talk and pinpoint I wanted to talk and pinpoint on what it must have been like for him as it related to black people, race, homosexuality, I'm sure, just all kind of things like that. Thank you for watching. Go to his website. I'm just thinking it'd be a great way to start. You can also Google some of the things he did, some of his things he said to the presidents over the years. I love this picture right here. I really want to know what he was saying right there. Don't you just want to jump in that picture? First of all, these boys are too adorable, but I want to go and say, what did he just say? Look at all of these people. Did they know what we know? Did he know? He didn't know what we know now, just faced with so much. I wish I could ask him, what was it like talking to President Ford versus President Trump versus President Nixon versus President Obama? Can you imagine the difference and what that must have been like to talk to all of them differently and to see their views over the years? So thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe. Shout out to everybody who follows him. And when I say shout out, keep your head up. Know that if you are a believer, then you will believe that he is in a better place, a place free from racism, from starvation, from all of the things that literally would choke me up if I keep on talking. So before I do, I want to say God bless you all. Open your mind. Keep an open mind. Do something different today. In honor of his death today, go and find somebody of a different race and just start talking. Don't put your foot in your mouth. Don't feel you have to say something to come to their level. Just be yourself and say hello. Let's take a step forward. Thanks again, guys, and you all have a great day. God bless.